Arsenal is close to signing a top striker. A sensation from Munich, Bayern's star is choosing Liverpool. Garnacho's new club will shock all Manchester United fans. Ansu Fati is preparing to move to London, and Milan is planning not just one but two fiery transfers. All this and much more in today's episode. If this video gets 500 thumbs up, it will motivate us to keep creating new video. So enjoy watching and let's get started. Real Madrid has set its sights on William Saliba. Yes, you heard that right. Not some Getafe or Rayo Vallecano, but Real Madrid. According to Foot Mercato, the Royal Club is seriously planning to sign Saliba from Arsenal in the summer of 2025. Are they drafting a 5-year plan over there or something? As if they don't already have a line of top-tier defenders waiting for their turn. Alright, jokes aside, gotta admit, Saliba is a beast of a defender, a rock, an absolute wall at the back. At Arsenal, he's been nothing short of outstanding, forming a stellar partnership with Gabriel that's just beautiful to watch. And now, this 23-year-old powerhouse, who's only getting better with every game, has caught the eye of Real Madrid. Did they just wake up suddenly? Or has Mbappé inspired them to start raiding the French talent pool? Word on the street is that Real's backline might be due for an overhaul. Alaba and Rudiger aren't exactly spring chickens anymore, and Militao's been dealing with injuries, so it makes sense they're starting to itch for reinforcements. And Saliba? He ticks all the boxes. Young, quick, excellent at tackling. Seems tailor-made for them. I mean, that's how they're describing him anyway. For all we know, they've only scouted him by playing EAFC. What really amused me though is this. Apparently, Real has already reached out to Saliba's camp. How exactly does that work? Do they send pigeons with handwritten letters? Or just slide into his telegram? William, you're our guy, come join us. We've got warmer weather and more trophies. It's hilarious to imagine. Meanwhile, Saliba himself reportedly isn't sweating it one bit. He's saying, I'm focused on the season. I don't know anything about this Real Madrid stuff. Gotta respect that, keeping his head firmly in the game. But here's where things get interesting. Saliba's contract with Arsenal runs until 2027, but there's no automatic extension clause in it. That's where Arsenal should start feeling the heat. If they don't move fast and offer him a shiny new deal with a bigger paycheck and some extra perks, Real Madrid will just swoop in and snatch him. As the saying goes, don't wait for trouble, trouble won't wait for you. And judging by the vibe, Real Madrid patiently waiting for Arsenal to mess this up. This, my friends, is where the real drama begins. Arsenal is fighting tooth and nail for the Premier League title right now. Are they going to lose focus because of this? Why is Real Madrid stirring the pot now? To add fuel to the fire, distract them. It's sneaky, isn't it? Not very champion-like. So now we sit and wonder, what's next? Can Arsenal convince Saliba to stay, or will Real snatch him right out from under their noses? If Saliba leaves, will Arsenal be able to fill the gaping hole in their defense, or will they end up calling Mustafi out of retirement? Honestly, there are more questions than answers, and that only makes things all the more exciting. Arsenal, wake up before it's too late. Saliba isn't just any player, he's one of the pillars of your backline, the guy holding your chaos together. Lose him, and you'll be digging through the dirt elbow deep trying to replace him. And let's be real, how likely are you to find someone of his caliber? Especially when his current valuation of £80 million feels like spare change in today's market. You know how it is, so now's the time to start thinking smart, not playing dumb. And what about you folks? What do you think of this whole situation? Who's right, who's wrong, and who stands to lose the most? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, and let's hear your take on it, because I, for one, am dying to know. The winter transfer window for AC Milan is like a cup of warm tea. Calm, measured, but, to be honest, a bit tasteless. While their competitors are making big signings, or at least trying to, the Rossoneri seem to have more talk than action. Serie A this season, to put it bluntly, isn't going too well. Milan is losing ground in the standings and is clearly crying out for reinforcements, even symbolic ones. But, according to La Gazzetta dello Sport and an army of Italian insiders, Milan's new boss, Sergio Conceição, is not ready to sit quietly through this transfer window. Rumor has it that he's practically shouting from his club office, "Get me João Felix." And here's where we pause to ask, really? That João Felix? The same one who barely gets on the pitch at Chelsea these days? João Felix, the once bright dream of Benfica and Atletico Madrid. Back in 2019, Atletico shelled out €127 million for him in what seemed like an attempt to turbocharge their squad. But something went wrong. Eventually, they loaned him out to where? Chelsea. Yes, that Chelsea, where everything is complicated for any player. Recently, Chelsea bought him outright for €52 million. It looked like a second chance for the Portuguese star. But no, now Felix is warming the bench under Enzo Maresca, watching games probably slightly closer to the action than we are on TV. This season, he has played just 3 times in the Premier League. Essentially, he's been reduced to a backup role. And now Milan swoops in, trying to rescue him from this Anglo-Italian limbo and transform him into a superstar once again. Chelsea, however, has made their stance clear. A loan? Don't even dream about it. Apparently, they're hoping to recover at least some of the money they invested in João. According to Italian media, the Blues are demanding no less than €40 million to make the deal happen. And then there's the matter of Felix's wages. At Chelsea, he earns around €5.7 million a year, bonuses included. Milan is willing to pay up to €4.5 million. Anything beyond that, and well, no deal. But you might ask, if the salary negotiations are so tricky, why are Milan even continuing talks? It's simple, friends. Jorge Mendes. Yes, the very agent who has orchestrated transfers for half of the Portuguese diaspora in Europe is actively assisting the Rossoneri. It was Mendes who once brought Rafael Leão to Milan, and Leão has now become one of the club's only bright sparks in attack. Let's be honest, João Felix is a talented player. Yes, he's often overlooked, but who among us doesn't dream of a second chance? If Conceição can reignite João's spark, Milan could acquire a versatile attacking weapon, someone who can play as a playmaker, a winger, or even a forward. The Portuguese forward is great at finding space, combining with teammates, and occasionally scoring jaw-dropping goals. But here's the flip side. Felix is a gamble, and a massive one at that. So, where does this leave us? Milan wants João Felix, but faces a mountain of challenges. Chelsea's price tag, salary demands, and the overarching question: can Felix really live up to expectations? Can Conceição revive his career? Or is this shaping up to be yet another costly mistake? We'd love to believe in a happy ending, but for now it all feels like a bedtime fairy tale. What do you think, friends? Should Milan take the plunge and spend big on Felix, or would they be better off looking elsewhere? Ansu Fati seems to be preparing for an exit, and not just anywhere, but to the land of the fog, England. Word on the street is that Tottenham Hotspur are quite interested in giving the 22-year-old Spaniard a new home. Hansi Flick, however, doesn't appear to have long-term plans for Fati. You know, he's got his own squad of wingers, Rafinha and Lamine Yamal, and Ansu is looking like the 8th, if not entirely unnecessary, option. Interestingly, Tottenham aren't the only ones eyeing the young talent. West Ham have also reportedly shown interest in acquiring Fati for their team, and it seems Barcelona aren't opposed to letting Ansu go out on loan again. Essentially, they're saying, let the guy play a bit, get some touches on the ball, why not? A 6-month loan sounds like a promising opportunity. But think back to just a few years ago, remember what Fati was like back then. In 2019, he burst onto the scene as part of Barcelona's first team. People were genuinely hyping him up as the heir apparent to none other than Lionel Messi. They even handed him the legendary number 10 jersey after Messi's departure to Paris Saint-Germain. But then, something didn't quite go as planned. Injuries constantly nagged at him, and his progress seemed to stall. These things happen. What can you do? After all, injuries are no joke. And now, with Flick fully focused on building his team, it seems Fati has been left without a real place in it. Spurs, however, according to Sport, are reportedly eager to strengthen their attack, and they see Ansu as almost a perfect fit, a versatile player who can cover multiple positions. We think this could be the chance for him to reboot his career. After all, 22 years old is hardly the end of the road, as they say. Yes, he already spent time on loan at Brighton, but to be honest, his performances weren't exactly spectacular. Still, Tottenham is a completely different story, isn't it? An ambitious project, a talented squad. If he can prove himself during the loan spell, he might even secure a permanent move at the end of the season, especially since Barcelona aren't likely to ask for an astronomical transfer fee. Just this past summer, Ange Postecoglou wanted to bring the Spaniard to Spurs, but back then, Ansu opted for Brighton under Roberto De Zerbi. As we see now, things didn't quite work out for him at Brighton. We believe Ansu Fati should take the risk and go on loan to Tottenham. Otherwise, he might end up warming the bench at Barcelona. So, a move for Ansu Fati seems like a perfectly logical step. Barcelona are even prepared to let Fati leave permanently. But realistically, a January loan feels more likely. Who, after all, is going to shell out a big sum of money for a player who hasn't had much game time recently? Especially when the player is still under contract until 2027. Barcelona, as it seems to us, are in no position to get sentimental. They need to address their financial issues, and in this case, a loan deal is very convenient. Tottenham benefits from bolstering their attack without overspending, and Fati himself gets a real chance to restart his career. In short, no matter how you look at it, there's potential for everyone to gain from this deal. As for West Ham, well, we're not so sure about that one. Tottenham clearly seems like the better option, both in terms of squad quality and ambition. Plus, we think Postecoglou could really find a way to bring out the best in this young talent. Either way, one thing's for sure, we'll be hearing a lot about Ansu Fati in the near future. And of course, we'll keep you updated on all the latest developments. What's your take on this? Share your thoughts in the comments, we'd love to hear them. Zlatan Ibrahimovic surprises us again. He announced that AC Milan is ready to sign a great player, Kyle Walker. Do you get what this is about? Yes, the same Kyle Walker who has been a central figure in Manchester City's defence for years, winning everything there is to win and being one of the best right-backs in the world. And now it seems he's on his way out. At least, Zlatan insists that Milan would definitely not regret signing Walker. If you think this all sounds like someone's wild fantasy, well, maybe. And honestly, it probably is a little bit. But here's the fact. Walker has publicly stated that he wants to leave, and it seems Manchester City isn't entirely opposed to letting him go. Plus, Pep Guardiola recently confirmed that Walker is planning to find a new club. And right at this moment, Milan comes into the picture, actively looking to sign a defender. Initially, the idea was that Walker might leave for free, signing a 2-year contract with Milan. But let's not forget, this is Manchester City we're talking about, not just some random club. They always have their tricks up their sleeve. And now, what are we hearing? Milan plans to take Walker on loan until the end of the season, and then pay €5 million for him in the summer. Simple, right? Well, almost. Who would have thought that clubs like City would ever be willing to let their captain go for free? On the other hand, Zlatan, as always, is on point. He's confident that Walker is top tier, and even more than that, he's a great leader. Zlatan didn't just say this for the sake of it, he genuinely wants Milan to grab this chance to sign another genius for the right flank. Let's not forget, Walker isn't just any player, he's been a key part of City's defense. With over 7 years of service and countless trophies to his name, his experience and leadership qualities are almost impossible to overestimate. Especially in an era where every defender is expected to contribute to attacks, Walker does it better than most. So, the negotiations between Milan and Walker are ongoing, and rumours suggest that a deal is close to being finalised. The current talk is that the Italians could sign him to a 2.5-year contract within the next few days. But here's where it gets really interesting. City still wants to get at least some money for their captain, while Walker himself doesn't seem ready to accept such terms. So, what's the solution? At stake are not just financial matters, but also a spot for a non-EU player in the squad, which is currently maxed out. Who will come out on top in this game? Milan, City, or Walker himself? Who's decided to leave Pep and his team? Will City manage to keep their dignity by holding on to their captain, or will they let him go for peanuts? Time will tell. What do you think? Does Milan really need Walker? And how do you feel about the idea of City letting go of one of their top defenders just like that? Leave your thoughts in the comments. We'd love to hear from you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, give us a like and hit the notification bell. There's plenty more interesting stuff coming your way. While you're doing that, let's move on to the next news segment. Arsenal is seriously targeting Benjamin Sesko, the kid who's being compared to none other than Haaland himself. Well, okay, maybe just in terms of height for now. But wait a second, didn't he swear up and down that he wouldn't leave Leipzig until the summer? What happened? Did the allure of big money and the prospect of shining in the Premier League change his mind? And then there's poor Jesus. As usual, just when he was getting into form, bam, back in the medical room. Now Arteta's left, scratching his head, wondering where to find a goal-scoring striker. And then, out of the blue, comes talk of Sesko. Coincidence? I think not. Arteta, like a true strategist, knows that without strengthening the attack, winning the title will remain just a dream. And Sesko, this 21-year-old future Haaland, seems like the perfect fit. Just look at him. Tall, skillful, clinical with his finishing. A dream striker, really. You think he's already practicing how to say North London is red. They say the guy is lighting it up at Leipzig. But honestly, where else would he shine if not in a club that's been grooming him for top-level football since practically day one? Salzburg. Leipzig. It's almost like a factory for talent built to rack up goals in bunches. Makes you wonder, do they have some sort of secret formula there? And now Arsenal, sitting near the top, well, almost at the top, of the Premier League and competing in Europe, is calling to Sesko like a magnet. And why wouldn't it? Who could say no to the chance to fight for trophies and play against the best clubs on the continent? Especially under Mikel Arteta. The only challenge might be having the patience to listen to all his tactical brilliance. And strangely enough, Jesus' injury might actually work in Arsenal's favour. Not that we're happy about poor Gabby being sidelined, of course, but for Sesko, it's a chance to make an immediate impact. Come on, get on the pitch, bag 2 or 3 goals, and you're already a hero at the Emirates. Rumour has it, Arsenal is willing to go all in during this transfer window. Really, what choice do they have? Sit back and wait for something to happen? No way, it's time to act. Although negotiating with Leipzig won't be easy. They're probably guarding him like their crown jewel over there. But, as the saying goes, every tricky lock has a key. The trick is offering Leipzig something they can't refuse. A truckload of cash, a year's supply of beer on the house. The recent whispers that Sesko might be open to a January move are certainly an encouraging sign. The key here is to hope these rumours aren't just hot air. You know how it goes. Big promises and then nothing but waiting around. Sure, the guy's under contract until 2029, and his reported value is around 70 to 75 million pounds. But then again, you've got to pay for talent, especially if that talent can help Arsenal finally win the title. Oh, and did you hear that Arteta personally called Sesko? Now, that's a power move. Clearly, this guy is high on Arteta's wish list. Seems like the Spaniard isn't messing around. He's taking the direct approach to convince the young striker that Arsenal is the place for him. So, will Arsenal pull off this massive transfer? Could we see Sesko in red and white this season? What do you think? Is the Slovenian wonder kid worth the money? Share your thoughts in the comments. Looks like the bosses at Manchester United are seriously on the hunt for a left-back. Nuno Mendes from PSG? Oh, that's the dream, no doubt about it. A top-tier player, and he's even worked under Amorim. But my friends, 60 million euros, that's no pocket change. And don't even get me started on his wages. It's like he's not a defender, but an actual oil rig running around the pitch. Obviously, with PSG's insane demands, United have zipped their lips and started looking elsewhere. And that's where Ryan Ait-Nouri from Wolves comes into the picture. What can we expect? The lad has been grinding away at Wolves, even with the team's shaky form. He's agile, versatile. Word is, Amorim likes him. But it's kind of like, you wanted a Mercedes, but you're settling for a solid Skoda. Sure, it drives, but there's definitely a bit of a letdown, right? And then there's another name popping up. Matheus Cunha, also from Wolves. Rumour has it he's a beast of a player, practically the breakout star of the season. But, oh dear, the competition for him is fierce. Everyone and their grandma seems to want him. So, United might end up missing out on this one. But here's the funniest part. The urgent search for a left-back might be postponed until the summer. Get this. Left-backs are a desperate need right now, with Shaw sidelined and Malaysia practically in a parallel universe. But nope, they're going to wait until the summer. And here's the kicker. To pull off any of these dream transfers, United will need to sell someone first. Yep, out of sight, out of mind. And guess who might be sacrificed? Brace yourselves, academy graduates. Rashford, Garnacho, Menu. Sounds like a joke, doesn't it? Selling your own homegrown players to buy new ones, and for outrageous prices at that. Football management at its finest. Standing ovation from me. Now let's talk about Antony. Remember this master of tricks they shelled out a ridiculous £84 million for? Well, word is they're trying to loan him out to Real Betis. Amorim apparently sees him as a non-factor, and honestly with good reason. Just 3 starts this season. That's some spectacular performance, huh? But as it turns out, Betis don't exactly have deep pockets either. And, as you might have guessed, Antony's wages are the issue. The guy's pulling in £200,000 a week. Betis can't afford that. So United might actually have to pay part of his salary just to get someone, anyone, to take him off their hands. It's laughable. Talk about efficient spending. Bravo, United, bravo. And then there's another unfortunate soul, Marcus Rashford. After signing that shiny new contract and putting on a stellar performance last season, it's like he's hit a wall. There's interest in him, sure, but no one's willing to match his wages. Saudi Arabia came knocking, but Marcus seems to be turning up his nose at that. Meanwhile, Dortmund and Barca are reportedly sniffing around. Let's see how that one plays out. So folks, the situation is as chaotic as ever. United scrambling for a miracle, trying to balance the books and avoid getting slapped with financial fair play sanctions. Amorim is just trying to figure out who's even capable of stepping onto the pitch and who can be shipped off without a second thought. And let's not forget, there are still a couple of weeks left before the transfer window closes. Anything can happen in that time. They might suddenly find the cash for Mendes, or they might sell one of the academy lads for a ridiculous fee. Garnacho to Napoli, for instance. In the world of football, nothing is impossible, especially when it comes to Manchester United. So, stay tuned for updates. What do you think? Who would you offload from this precious squad to sign a truly solid left-back? According to TZ, Liverpool have made a serious push to sign Joshua Kimmich. On the surface, it seems like an ambitious and well-thought-out plan, landing one of the most versatile players in modern football this summer. But of course, there are a couple of big ifs. First, what's the likelihood that Bayern Munich would even consider letting go of their Iron Man? Kimmich isn't just a key player, he's the brain at the heart of the Bavarian machine. A player who can do quite literally everything. Carry the ball out from the back, hold his ground defensively, and even fill in on the flank if needed. Honestly, it feels like if you handed him a pair of gloves, he could put in a shift as a goalkeeper for a couple of matches. Second, Bayern aren't exactly sitting idle. Rumour has it they've offered Kimmich a deal almost impossible to refuse. 20 million euros a year plus a signing bonus. But what if Kimmich doesn't want to extend his contract? Who knows? Maybe he's grown tired of the ever-serious atmosphere of Munich, and that's where Liverpool might come in. Arne Slot, it seems, spends his nights watching Kimmich highlight reels, thinking this is the missing piece in our puzzle. Let's be honest, Liverpool's midfield right now is a blend of youth, experience, and a lot of question marks. Take Ryan Gravenberch, for example. The guy plays as if he's clocking into a coal mine, burnt out halfway through the season. And then there's all the noise about Real Madrid wanting to snap up Trent Alexander-Arnold. So the idea is that Kimmich could be the magic solution. But there are obstacles at every turn. For one, Bayern reportedly won't sell him in the winter window, even if it's their last chance to make money from him. And honestly, you can't blame them. Who parts ways with a player like that mid-season? Even with whispers that Liverpool are willing to fork out 25 million euros in January, it's hardly an irresistible offer for Bayern. So, what's Liverpool's next move? Theoretically, they could play the long game. Convince Kimmich to sign a pre-contract agreement and bring him in for free in the summer. But the question remains, would Kimmich himself be willing to swap Munich for England? Let's not forget, rainy Liverpool isn't quite Munich with its Bavarian sausages and beer. Here's another twist. Several insiders claim Liverpool see Kimmich as a potential replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold. Now that's intriguing. Picture this. Real Madrid ends up with one of the world's most elite creative fullbacks, while Liverpool goes back to basics with a calm holding midfielder. You all know how Trent pushes forward, leaving the team exposed at the back. Maybe Slot sees Kimmich as the ultimate plug for those holes, covering both defense and midfield fluidly. But amidst all this transfer drama, a crucial question lingers. Should Kimmich even consider leaving Bayern for the potential instability of Liverpool? After all, Bayern didn't nickname him the second Lahm for nothing. He's the perfect soldier for their system. Versatile, reliable, and so consistent it's almost boring. And yet, behind all these rumors looms the obvious reality. For now, this is just talk. Bayern clearly have no intention of parting ways with Kimmich, and Liverpool will have to work exceptionally hard to convince the German star to make the switch. So what do you think? Can Liverpool really manage to prize Kimmich away from Bayern? Or is this just another soap opera that's destined to end in a resounding nothing happened? Chelsea have set their sights on the Argentine winger and, judging by the latest reports, seem ready to engage in a serious battle with Napoli, who, as we discussed earlier, are also keen on bringing this talented youngster into their squad. Do you remember how we talked about Napoli looking for a replacement for Kvaratskhelia? Well, Garnacho, with his speed and technique, seems like the perfect candidate. He's young, bold, and has everything it takes to light up the Serie A. But not so fast. Here comes Chelsea, and according to reports, the Blues have already made their first move, testing the waters for a potential transfer. Manchester United representatives are, of course, putting on a front, claiming Garnacho isn't going anywhere. They insist he's part of their future plans and not for sale. But, my friends, we all know that in football everything revolves around the almighty dollar. And if Chelsea offers a sum so astronomical it makes the United board's heads spin, well, anything can happen. Especially when rumours suggest the player himself might be open to trying his luck at another club where he's guaranteed more playing time. Now, you might ask, why Chelsea specifically? It's simple. Chelsea's new owner, as you know, is an ambitious American who loves to think big. He's got deep pockets and is looking for fresh talent and bold ideas. Garnacho, with his potential, is a very tempting prospect. Plus, the player himself dreams of playing in the Champions League, and Chelsea, unlike the current Man United, can probably offer him that opportunity. And this is where things start to heat up. Napoli has reportedly already made an offer to Manchester United for Garnacho, €40 million plus bonuses. But the Red Devils just smirked at the proposal, slapping a €70 million price tag on the player, essentially saying, "We won't even start talking for less than this amount." Napoli, understandably taken aback by such a high demand, isn't giving up just yet. According to Corriere dello Sport, the Italians are preparing a new, improved offer of €50 million. Now here's the million-dollar question. Will Manchester United resist the temptation? On the one hand, Garnacho is undoubtedly a huge talent, but on the other, €70 million is a fortune. With that kind of money, they could patch up holes in their squad and even bring in a couple of solid players. Considering that United isn't in its best shape right now and needs a serious rebuild, selling Garnacho could be their financial lifeline, especially since he was brought in from Atletico Madrid for next to nothing, meaning any transfer fee would be pure profit. But there's another twist. Rumour has it that Chelsea has an ace up their sleeve, a few players who could interest Man United as part of a potential swap deal. You know, like a barter system. You give me this, I'll give you that. So the Red Devils will need to carefully weigh their options. Is it better to take a hefty sum of money or say a promising defender and a forward in addition? Personally, I'd go for the cash and a couple of players on top. Italian journalist Francesco Modugno, for instance, believes that Napoli won't be able to afford Garnacho's €70 million price tag. He claims the Argentine's real market value is closer to 35 to 40 million euros, and that Napoli would never agree to pay more than that. But in my opinion, it's not that simple. Napoli already sold Kvaratskhelia to PSG for a massive fee. They're not some poor club, and if they truly want Garnacho, they'll find a way to cough up the money. Especially since Antonio Conte, according to rumours, sees the Argentine as the ideal replacement for the departed Georgian star. Meanwhile, the respected outlet Tuttosport claims that Napoli isn't just unwilling to back down, but has even agreed on personal terms with Garnacho. According to their sources, the deal involves a 5-year contract with an annual salary of €3 million. Not bad, right? Especially for a 20-year-old. And if we're to believe the press, Napoli has even increased their offer for Garnacho to €55 million, including bonuses. But Man United remains firm at €70 million. Stubborn negotiators, aren't they? As the saying goes, if there's a gun hanging on the wall, it's bound to go off eventually. So, if there's already this much talk, chances are the transfer will happen sooner or later. As for my personal opinion, I think Manchester United will eventually lower their price, but only slightly, maybe to around 60 to 65 million euros. I just don't believe they'd miss out on such a lucrative opportunity. But who will win this transfer race? Chelsea or Napoli? That's another question entirely. My gut tells me the Blues might be more persistent and could even propose some clever swap deal with a cash top-up. Still, Napoli won't back down without a fight. So, let's wait and see. What do you guys think? Where will Garnacho end up and for how much? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any exciting updates from the world of football. Things are only going to get hotter from here. Stay tuned.